Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I want to demonstrate the 11 features that your iPad or iPhone has that will help people with visual impairments to use it more easily. Now, because in this video I'm going to be going over 11 features, it will be a brief demonstration of each feature. But don't worry, in later videos I'm going to be creating more in-depth videos of individual features, such as voiceover. So watch out for those on our channel. Now all these settings are found within the vision section of the accessibility menu, which in itself is found in the general section of the settings menu. So let's head over there now. If I just go back out, so we're going to touch on settings, and then on general, and then accessibility. So at the top here we have the vision section, and the 11 features that the iPad or iPhone has are voiceover, zoom, invert colours, grayscale, speech, larger text, bold text, button shapes, increased contrast, reduced motion, and on and off labels. So let's do a brief demonstration of each of those, shall we? So first of all, voiceover. Voiceover is the screen reader for the iPad, and when you turn voiceover on, you get spoken feedback about anything that you are doing on your iPad, and it sounds like this.
Settings. Accessibility. Back button. Accessibility. Back button. Settings. Heading. Settings. Heading. Voiceover. On. Button. Settings. Voiceover. On. Voiceover off.
Okay, so hopefully you could hear that. And that was just a brief demonstration of voiceover, but it's a lovely quality voice, and as I said, anything you're doing on the iPad, it will give you spoken feedback about where you are, what text it's reading, and things like that. Okay, feature number 2, as we can see, is zoom. And as it says here, zoom magnifies the entire screen. So let's turn it on. And here we go. We've got a zoom window, which you can see in the top left hand side, which is part of zoom. And then for instance you could move that window around. Now, as I said, this is a very brief demonstration of each of these features. A lot of these features are quite complex, and that's why I'll be producing individual videos of them to really dig down deep into each of these features to see exactly what they do. Right, invert colours. Let's have a look at this. Let's turn it on. And it provides a high contrast look. Now what's really interesting is that high contrast doesn't come out on the video. But it almost gives you the look that you would see on photo negatives. It's that kind of washed out look to things. But yeah, I never knew that it wouldn't appear on the video. Well, let's have a look at the next one, the grayscale. This doesn't look as though it's appearing either. This is a more subtle change of the colour scheme, and basically on your screen you can see, for instance, there's lots of colours involved, and this takes away all the colours, and the only colours you can see are black, white and grey. So all of the icon colours on the left hand side would have just become grey, all the writing remains black and things like that. Okay, let's go on to the next feature, accessibility feature for vision, which is speech. Now speech, this option here is a much more focused version of VoiceOver. The voice that you hear is the same, but speech, it just means that you, in VoiceOver, when you turn VoiceOver on, the voice continues to talk wherever you are on the iPad, whereas this is a more controlled feature. So for instance up here we can speak a selection, or we can speak an entire screen, or we can speak the auto text feature. So it's just more focused and more controlled than the VoiceOver. Okay, let's go back and let's have a look at large text, which is already on. So let's have a look on our calendar, for instance, and just have a look at that. And let's go back into the settings and let's turn it off. Okay, sorry, there's a bit of a mistake there, because let's turn it back on again and let's drag it up. So let's have a look again at our calendar. So you can see that the text is larger in the calendar than it was before. If we go back to settings, you can see that the text there has also changed because we've dragged the slider. So let's turn that off. That's larger text. The next option is bold text, and that basically makes all the text of the icons and in the headings, it just makes it bold. And if I select to do this, we will get a prompt that the iPad wants to restart in order to configure itself. But yes, so all that happens, as I said, is the menu items and the headings are made bold. Okay, button shapes, let's have a look at these. And particularly if we have a look up here at the general look at this menu item here when I do button shapes. So button shapes, any text on screen that you can press to make a selection, such as up here in general, it will have a button shape appear around it. It just makes it easier to see for people with a visual impairment. Okay, the next feature is increasing contrast. Now this allows you to reduce the transparency to things like the dock. So let's just have a quick look at that. There's the dock, and then I wonder if I reduce transparency, can you see? I don't know if you can see, but actually it gets darker, the contrast is higher. Okay, darken colours, if we have a look here again at accessibility, then the text colour gets darker, and reduce white point just takes some of the glare off of the screen. Okay, the next one is reduce motion. Now the latest versions of the software that powers the iPads and the iPhones are make the screens a very busy and dynamic place. Now there's lots happening on the screen, but by selecting reduce motion, this makes the visual effects a lot simpler. So if we choose to do it on and then go back to the home screen, that's the kind of difference. If we take it off, then as we go back to the home screen, it's slightly more dynamic, the effect of going back to the home screen. Okay, and the last one is on-off labels. So let's put that on. Now all this does is it adds a 1 for these green toggle selections that you can see on your screen here. It adds a 1 or a 0. Okay, and you can see that above here as well. Just adds a 1 or a 0. It's just so that the labels are easier to see. Okay, and that's it. Those are the 11 features that iPhones and iPads have in them that make it easier for people with visual impairments to use them. As I said earlier, look out for my other in-depth videos of individual settings, and if you have any comments on what you've seen or any questions, please let me know in the comments section below.